Henry was happy.
Health and safety is the way to keep the tracks clear every day.
You're right, Henry. Now I have to go back to the rescue center.
Then, Henry saw Percy again.
Hello, Percy.
Flatten my funnel. I thought there were rolls of wire here.
Health and safety, Percy.
Percy was puzzled.
Now the telegraph poles and the wire have gone.
But Henry was too far away to hear. Henry was steaming slowly to the rescue center. Then Percy raced past.
Cool your pistons, Percy. Slow and careful is the way. Health and safety every day.
But Percy was in too much of a hurry to hear. Later, Henry and Rocky chuffed cheerfully along. Suddenly, Percy whooshed round a bend and stopped.
Oh, no!
Oh, dear.
What's happened, Percy?
I've puffed too far too fast. Now I've run out of water.
Henry was worried.
Rocky will have to move you, Percy. Health and safety.
And before Percy could wheesh another word, he was swinging high above the track from Rocky's long crane arm. Then there was trouble. Sir Topham had arrived. He was cross.
Rocky, what are you doing with Percy?
It's health and safety, sir.
Health and safety have a time and a place, Henry. But now there is an emergency. I need Rocky to help Toby. And Percy has looked all over the island for the telegraph poles and wire he has to deliver.
Henry felt terrible.
I should have asked if I could take Rocky, and I should have asked Percy about the poles and wires. I'm sorry, sir. I wanted to stop accidents, but instead, I have made them happen. May I take Rocky now to the emergency?
Yes, Henry. Right away.
So Percy was lowered with a bump and a jump. Then Henry raced Rocky to Toby. Toby's cowcatcher had caught, and he had derailed. This was an emergency.
Now I must help Percy.
On the way, Henry saw an old freight car on the track. He was worried.
Fizzling fireboxes, health and safety.
Then Henry saw Thomas.
Thomas, why's this old freight car here?
Don't worry, Henry. I have to shunt it to the coal yard.
Henry felt happy he had asked, and he puffed quickly on.
The funny popping sound that made me laugh must have been the corks. This is all my fault, sir.
Thomas felt terrible. Now the children couldn't have their picnic.
I could put this right, sir.
Thomas pumped his pistons and chuffed quickly away. First, Thomas puffed to the bakery. The bakers had baked more cakes, and they were loaded onto Thomas's freight cars. Then, Thomas chuffed to Knapford for more lemonade. He saw Mr. Bubbles. Mr. Bubbles had bought a new red nose.
I'm sorry about your nose, sir. And I'm sorry I made you late. Now, may I take you to the picnic?
That's a splendid idea, Thomas.
Soon, Thomas was steaming back to Whispering Woods Halt. On the way, Thomas told Mr. Bubbles all about the popping corks.
They made a very funny sound. It made me laugh. It made me happy.
Soon, Thomas, you will hear a sound that makes you feel even happier.
Thomas was puzzled. This time at the junction, Thomas took the flat track straight to Whispering Woods Hall. Thomas arrived at Whispering Woods Hall just in time. Not one of the corks had popped. The children saw Thomas had brought Mr. Bubbles and the cakes. Thomas listened to the children, laughing and cheering.
Now, Thomas, that is the happiest sound of all.
You're right, Mr. Bubbles.
And Thomas laughed loudest of all. And Percy raced and rattled right past Sir Topham Hatt. Then there was trouble. Gordon was roaring towards Percy.
Out of my way! Express coming through!
Out of my way! Mail coming through!
But Gordon didn't get out of Percy's way. Suddenly, Percy was worried.
Oh, my! Oh, no! Oh, help! Whoa!
Oh!
Gordon swerved and swayed into a siding. He bashed the buffers and toppled off the tracks. Percy felt terrible. Now, he didn't feel bold at all. He felt very silly.
I'm sorry, Gordon. I wanted to be you. I wanted to be fast and loud and very important. But now you can't puff at all. And it's all my fault.
Gordon grumped. Percy puffed.
I will put all of this right by just being Percy.
First, Percy took Alicia Botti to Sir Topham Hatt at Knapford.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, Miss Botti. I was trying to be Gordon, but I know that I'm only Percy.
Next, he puffed into the Sodor Search and Rescue Center.
Excuse me, James. I made Gordon derail. Would you pull Rocky with me to help Gordon? I'm not strong enough alone.
James sniffed. Then, he felt sorry for Percy.
Very well. Buffer up.
And together, they heaved and hauled Rocky to help Gordon.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Rocky. I must hurry now to pick up the mail.
And Percy huffed and chuffed to pick up the mail sacks. Slowly, Percy steamed away to Knapford.
I'm really just Percy. I'm small and I'm green. I'm silly, I'm slow. I don't want to be seen.
Percy chuffed into Knapford. Sir Topham Hatt was waiting. Percy's firebox fizzed with fear.
Percy, why did you want to be Gordon? You're perfect being Percy, and that's what I want you to be.
All the engines hooted and tooted in agreement, and Percy smiled. He was happy being Percy.